have Marilyn Villeneuve, who's here to speak and do a delegation. So what we'll do, if the will of council is all okay, if everybody's okay with moving her up prior to the in-camera, that's what we'll do, and then we'll go in camera. Are we good? Nodding of heads? Okay. Yep. Okay, I'll ask for any declaration of interest. Is there any declaration of interest? No declarations. Seeing none, we'll go forward with our only delegation this morning from the Volunteer Center of St. Lawrence. So go ahead, Ms. Villeneuve. Just need you to unmute.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, members of council and staff, for giving me the opportunity to present to you today on behalf of the Volunteer Center of St. Lawrence Rideau. My name is Marilyn Villeneuve, and I'm the manager of the Volunteer Center. Is there somebody doing my PowerPoint? I was told somebody was doing my PowerPoint.
Okay, 1 second, they're just getting it up. Please excuse our delay. We're usually we have a clerk who is
yeah, I know she's off. Yeah. That's
so
okay.
we're just muddling through for the next few weeks, hopefully before we get a new clerk in place. Yeah, technology is great as long as it runs very smoothly. So thank you for your patience. And we have Councillor Gorell, so it's good timing. So thank you for joining us, Councillor. Sorry for the confusion today.
Is my microphone working?
Yep. Your microphone, we can hear you.
Yes. Thanks.
Councillor Gorell, we moved the delegation portion up prior to the in-camera session, so we're just getting the slide deck up so that Ms. Villeneuve can give her presentation. Where are we at with, are we able to present this, to put it into a presentation, or is this just a PDF version?
If she reduces it a little bit, I can run with that. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we can just reduce the size so the slides fit into the screen. There we go.
That's good. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Villeneuve.
So we can just go right ahead to the next slide then. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so waving goodbye to 2021 and welcoming 2022 doesn't mean we can just forget about the past. What we've already seen are the repercussions of the last 22 months and what is still to come. The COVID pandemic has forced so many nonprofit agencies, services, and businesses to pivot in an unexpected way, but it's also provided us with opportunity to improve, refocus, and be creative. The next slide, please. So let's take a look at some of the programs and services of the Volunteer Center. And of course, I'm going to start with the one that we're most known for, which is our Community Volunteer Income Tax Program. Our tax program, we're in our 37th year of delivering this. It is, we provide free income tax filing for low income filers. So low income would be 35,000 or less for an individual, 45,000 for a couple. We offer 5 locations throughout the tax season. So residents of the Township of Leeds and the Thousand Islands generally access our Gananoque location as well as our Brockville location. We do offer a year-round service through Brockville as well. So we have 24 trained volunteers who complete anywhere from 2,600 to 3,000 tax returns annually. Approximately 10% go through our Gananoque location, where we have 3 trained volunteers, as well as the support of community partners. So this spring, this past spring, we did collaboration with the Tamarack Institute. We really wanted to do a case study to better understand the impact of the CDITP, Community Volunteer Income Tax Program. So through data collected from our own statistics, Canada Revenue Agency and the United Counties of Leeds, Grenville, we estimate that the CDITP program returns $24 million. Yes, that's right, $24 million back into the pockets of our most vulnerable residents. And this is through refunds, benefits, and transfer payments. So that would mean approximately $2 million is generated through the Gananoque location. So did you know that 24% of eligible Canadians access these clinics, and that 10 to 12% of Canadians do not even file their taxes, missing out on approximately $1.7 billion for families and individuals. So we see a great opportunity and a need for this program to grow in our region with additional drop-off locations throughout Leeds and Grenville, and we're positioned to support this growth by strengthening community connections and collaborations. The CDITP has been identified as an essential poverty reduction tool, not just here in Leeds and Grenville, but across all of Canada. And COVID, we know, is creating widespread unemployment and instability for millions of people across Canada and across our region. So we know that this program will have a definite growth in this year. Next slide. So building on the success of our tax program, in 2020, we introduced our financial literacy program, which is focused on helping people gain more confidence and knowledge with financial matters, such as banking, savings, credit, debt, and budgeting. We offer free workshops that are delivered by trained volunteers, leveraging the work of Prosper Canada. To date, we've delivered 41 adult workshops, including a few in the Gananoque area, to approximately 194 participants. In June, we conducted a focus group with an area teacher and some students to take a look at teens and money. And this launched our youth financial workshops. And we haven't looked back with this program. So we have youth ages 14 to 21 who participate in 3 90-minute virtual workshops each month, helping them navigate financial information and resources. We engage the youth to learn about the benefits of saving for higher education. We challenge them to create their own budgets and savings programs. And we try to demonstrate how even kids, when given the opportunity, can participate in building financial stability for their future. To date, we've completed 18 workshops with approximately 8 to 10 youth attending each series. And we've developed this program outside of the school hours, so students can also obtain 10 community volunteer hours for their participation. So with volunteer role models, mentors, collaborators, community partners, they're helping us to expand the reach and the delivery of our workshops in a safe, non-judgmental environment. And through this program, we have engaged several participants who have not completed their taxes. So you can see how it would overlap into our CDITP program. So a recent example was we were doing some workshops with one of our social service agencies. We were doing in-house, and one of their clients was about to re-enter independent living. And while we were doing the financial workshop, we discovered that he had 18 years of taxes to be completed. So we pulled him aside, got him into our community tax program and helped him get all of his taxes done. So you can imagine the impact that this has had on his life, heading back out into independent living and with thousands of dollars back into his pocket to be able to secure housing, food, and transportation. And we've had many of these scenarios, especially this last year, where we've been completing 8 years, 10 years, 15 years of taxes. So again, the financial literacy program, we see this is another one that will definitely be growing as we move forward. Next slide. So for 40 years, we are in our 40th anniversary. We've developed strategic partnerships, multiple organizations here in our region, and many of these agencies provide wraparound programs and services to all residents of our communities here in Leeds and Grenville. And then we support these agencies as well with volunteer recruitment and referrals. Next slide. So we also have some formal associations such as Volunteer Canada, the Ontario Volunteer Centre Network, the Canada Learning Bond National Champions Network. I sit on a roundtable with them to promote Canada Learning Bond and RESP, the Tamarack Institute, all of which help enhance our skills, our profile in the community. And we participate in many community and national roundtables as well. So this year, I was invited to participate on behalf of the Volunteer Center as a stakeholder with FCAC, the Federal Financial Consumer Agency of Canada, and to have a voice with the National Financial Strategy for 2021 through to 2026 with a theme that's called Make Change That Counts. And in each week, I raise awareness of volunteerism, our tax program, our financial program, and I do a weekly radio spot for the area just to highlight opportunities to volunteer and everything that's going on at our center. In June of 2021, we became the intake agency for LEAP, which is the Low Income Energy Assistance Program, where we help residents with inadequate income who fall behind on their energy bills. So we've paid out approximately $1,400 and referred several clients. And again, through this program, once again, we discover that they haven't completed their taxes and they need assistance with financial literacy and empowerment. So the three programs work together. So it's just really one more way for us to support and provide full wraparound services for our residents. In November 1st, we launched a national partnership with Volunteer Calgary to be the first volunteer center in Ontario to launch their new digital volunteer platform. And this helps support our agencies and volunteers in Leeds and Grenville. So it's just one more way for volunteers and agencies to be engaged in our online world. So we have a digital platform on our website as well. So that would be something that we're building this coming year. Next slide. So of course, along with the tax services and financial program, our community volunteers have assisted in so many ways, and especially through the pandemic with grocery and essential item pickup and delivery. They help with the food banks. We did social distancing shelters, the vaccination and screening clinics. And each year we recognize volunteers through our Community Caring Awards, which we host on December 5th, International Volunteer Day. And this year we recognize 10 regional volunteers who were nominated. So we've interviewed, screened, and referred over 100 volunteers during COVID, which is actually pretty good considering a lot of our volunteers are seniors, so they've stepped away, and a lot of agencies have had to postpone or put on hold their volunteer programs. Next slide. So something else that we do post-COVID, it was great. We did a lot of workshops and training to support our nonprofit agencies. So we've done excellence in board governance, social media 101, And then our big one, the last one that we got in just prior to COVID, was our Turf Trust and Collaboration Workshop in partnership with the Tamarack Institute, where we had 40 community partners come together just really to learn a day of learning and collaboration, and how to the Turf Trust and Collaboration, how to work together. Next slide. So keeping in mind that the Volunteer Center operates entirely on fundraising, grant requests, memberships, donations, and sponsorships. We go out into the community to raise awareness all the time. So if there's trade shows or community events, we're there, or we even develop our own, put on our own, especially volunteer fairs. Our financial literacy workshops, our tax program, of course, our fundraising event, our key fundraising event is the Dancing Stars. We were able to do it in 2020, not in 2021. And of course, with it being a March event, we've had to cancel it again this year. And very active in keeping the conversations open with our local MPP and MP. And of course, all of our councils, we're going around to every township, every municipality, over the next several months, and letting them know exactly what the Volunteer Center does and asking for support. Next slide. So apparently we all know that volunteers touch everybody's life. I'm sure that everybody on this Zoom tonight has had their life either touched by a volunteer or they've volunteered themselves. So they're an essential driver in the response to the pandemic, and they will continue to be essential for our recovery. And we must work collectively and support the work of the Volunteer Center and the engagement of volunteers. So we're committed to enhancing and improving low-income and at-risk community members' lives through financial well-being, along with participation and contribution to society through volunteerism. So something I think that's really important to stress here this evening is that we don't look at the programs of the Volunteer Center as municipal based. They're available to all residents, no matter where they live in Leeds and Grenville. And we're building a center of excellence that will be the go-to place for community support by leveraging our knowledge, practical experience, and existing services. So our goal is really to grow and work in a sustainable manner, because the more people we reach, the greater impact we have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Villeneuve. So I'm going to go to any councillors who may have questions for the presenter, and then we'll wrap it up. So I recognize Councillor Olkey and then Councillor Mabey.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Villeneuve. I'm a strong supporter of this sort of thing. I'm engaged with another one. Some of this stuff you're telling me is new tonight. The one I'm engaged with is linked to a church group. It's called Christians Against Poverty. It does many similar things. One thing that does concern me is when you say develop a center of excellence, sometimes these things tend to go to where the population is the most, like say Brockville. We have a large swatch of people that could do very well with this program. If you look at our township, it's kind of shaped like an L, with the spine being the Rideau and the base being the St. Lawrence. And there's that big part of the isosceles triangle in the middle there that sometimes gets forgotten. So I'm wondering, what do you have for satellite programs? Do you have to have people coming to you? Because I tell you, there's people who could benefit from you who would really be better if you went to them. Thank you.
Yeah, so of course, pre-COVID, we offered, like I say, 5 locations for the tax program to operate out, which includes Gananoque, Elgin, and then the Brockville, Prescott, Kempville. So there's a need for this to grow. We're adding on more locations for this year. When COVID hit in 2020, we shut down the tax program for 2 weeks only. And the team pulled together and came up with a plan, and we went to Canada Revenue Agency and said this needs to continue. And we came up with the idea of doing the file by phone service and the drop-off locations. So that way, even rural communities, if somebody north of Gananoque or north anywhere in your area, they can pick up the phone and we can do their taxes over the phone with them. The financial literacy workshops, we can do them virtually, we can do them in person. So if somebody came to us and said, we want this delivered in-house, we'll bring that workshop in-house for them. We've done that many times. I agree 100%. I'm a strong supporter of boots on the ground, take the programs out rather than having people come to us.
Thank you.
Councillor Maybe?
Thank you, Your Worship, and through you to Ms. Villeneuve. Great to hear that it's 40 years that you've been around, all the taxes that you have done in the communities. My big question is, do you have any statistics of the Leeds and Thousand Islands Township and how many people you've actually helped maybe in our borough? Thank you.
Yeah, so for that, we only track the statistics based on the location. Primarily for confidential reasons. We don't keep specific addresses. So we know that in Gananoque, through our Gananoque volunteers, like I say, there was approximately 10% of the taxes filed are done through the Gananoque location. So that could be anywhere from 260 to 300 tax files done through Gananoque. But keep in mind, there are residents who do come and access it through Brockville as well, because not everybody files their taxes during tax season. So we're still doing taxes right up until Christmas. But I would say through your region, at least 10% of what we file is done in that area. So that would equate to approximately $2 million.
Yes, excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Further comments or questions for the presenter? I don't see any hands up, so I will just say that in my other role and my other life, my day-to-day job, unfortunately, I see a number of people who have not filed their taxes for extended periods of time. I had a client come to me last week who hadn't filed in 7 years. And this was because his wife, who'd since passed away, did all that prior to. So it wasn't the fact that he actually owed anything, he just didn't really know how. Somebody had always done it for him. So in that regard, I do sort of see Councillor Olkey's point to say that it's difficult as well. I was happy to hear about the file by phone, because that is something that generally everybody has access to. As you're, I'm sure, well aware, Zoom calls and being online isn't always an option for our residents in our certain parts of our municipality because of the connectivity issue. So it is great to see that they can phone in and go over the phone. But I also know that it's also about being prepared and having the paperwork, which is half the battle. But it's so crucial. It's such a crucial service that you provide, along with all the other partnerships that you have that dovetail into one another. I learned about the LEAP program, so that's excellent. And I'm sure that's something that we could potentially promote in our newsletter. I'm sure Ms. Goodman can make a note to basically push that out, that if anybody is struggling to make their payments for heating bills, that we could put them in touch with your group and hopefully provide some sort of assistance if any is available. Are there any?
No, I was just going to say 75% of what we've processed this year came from Gananoque.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Councillor Fody, I see your hand go up. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship, and through you to Ms. Villeneuve. Likewise, congratulations on your 40 years of a valuable service. I have to ask the obvious question. Is there no level in government that actually has a catchment for those who do not file their taxes? This was pretty startling to me when I read your presentation this past week.
Ask government. I wish I had the answer to that. I don't know what to say.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I thought maybe you had the answer, but your answer is likely pretty concise. Enough said.
Just to bookend that, Councillor Fody, I do know that They do chase people for sometimes, and then sometimes they're just not on the radar. And enforcement is one of those things. And especially if people don't owe, generally they're going after the people that owe. So the sad part is the people that aren't filing, that actually are eligible for a return, are leaving money on the table. And generally, whether it's $300 or $3,000, sometimes that could make all the difference in the world to those individuals who are on limited incomes or on fixed incomes, I should say. And so that's why the service is so important. But I guess my hope is that this presentation has brought it to light to councillors, council, but also that we can promote the service as best we can, whether it be through our online presence, social media, as well as, because these are free services, correct, Ms. Villeneuve?
Yes,
There's
they
no
are.
cost. So
Everything is free. Yep.
So I think it's a service that our residents, some may be aware of and some may not be. So we can do our best to bring that awareness forward and push it through our channels already. So any other further questions for Ms. Villeneuve? Seeing none, I'll thank you, and truly thank you for the information. It has been very valuable, and wish you all the best this year. And hopefully we'll get back to Dancing with the Stars, because I did enjoy that.
Thank you.
It was always
It'll
fun
be
to watch.
2023 by the looks of it now. So yeah.
We're not going to give up. That's all that
Yeah,
matters.
no, definitely not. Thank you very much for this
Wonderful.
evening.
Thank you, Ms. Villeneuve.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so for Councillor Gorell, who wasn't here at the beginning of the agenda, we moved the in-camera meeting till after the delegation to allow Ms. Villeneuve to present and then go. So technically, we are at the point in time in the meeting where we will be going to form the in-camera portion of the meeting. Councillor Fody, can I have you make that motion? And Councillor Maybe, will you second that motion? I just need a nodding of a head. Although I think he's frozen. Oh, I got it now. Okay. So the motion reads that council adjourn to form an in-camera session to consider security of the property of the municipality, a matter in respect of which a council, board, committee, or other body may hold a closed meeting under another act, and personnel matters about an identifiable individual, including local board and municipal employees. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, please signify. All those opposed, and we're carried. So we're just going to wait to stop